18 years. That's how long it's been since the first iPhone was revealed to the world. Back then, nobody could have imagined where this little rectangle of glass and aluminium would go. And now, here we are. 2025, and Apple has just unveiled something that feels like the future, but lighter, thinner, more unreal than ever. This is the iPhone 17 Air, and let me tell you, this isn't just another iPhone. It's not just a Pro with a slimmer body. The iPhone 17 Air is Apple rewriting the rules on what a smartphone can be. But before we dive into all the new tech, let's zoom out. Let's talk about what Air means in Apple's world. See, Apple has used the Air name sparingly over the years, and every time they do, it's a statement. The MacBook Air in 2008, Steve Jobs pulled it out of an envelope on stage. It wasn't just a laptop, it was the thinnest laptop anyone had ever seen. Suddenly, the word Air meant lightness. It meant portability. It meant freedom. The iPad Air, slimmer, lighter, just as powerful. AirPods, wireless freedom, cutting the cord forever. When Apple uses the word Air, they're telling us this is the product stripped down to its essence. No wasted weight, no wasted space, just pure design and function. So when Apple announced the iPhone 17 Air, people knew this was going to be special, and they weren't wrong. Let's start with the design. The iPhone 17 Air is impossibly thin. We're talking under 5 millimeters. 5. That's thinner than a pencil, thinner than most wallets, thinner than your imagination thought possible for a phone that powerful. The frame is a titanium aluminum fusion, strong, lightweight, and surprisingly durable. Apple says it's the most resilient Air product they've ever made. And when you hold it, it almost doesn't feel real, like a piece of futuristic glass. And weight? The iPhone 17 Air is just 120 grams. That's lighter than most iPhones from a decade ago. And yet this thing is packing hardware that would have sounded like science fiction in 2010. When you pick it up, it almost feels like nothing. But when you turn it on, it feels like everything. The display is something Apple calls Air OLED. It's flexible, edge to edge, and almost paper thin, but it's also brighter, sharper, and more energy efficient than any iPhone screen before it. HDR looks insane. Scrolling feels buttery. And when you're watching content, it feels like the icons and videos are floating above the glass. This is AI baked into the DNA of your phone. It edits photos instantly, summarizes your texts and notifications, generates wallpapers based on your mood, and even drafts entire emails just from a quick voice command. Imagine this. You're late for work. You say, "Hey Siri, catch me up." And instantly, your iPhone 17 Air gives you a morning briefing, your most important emails, your calendar updates, all summarized in seconds. That's the power of Apple Intelligence in the Air. And let's not forget the cameras, because Apple didn't hold back here either. The main sensor, a 48-megapixel beast with next-gen light capture. Low-light photography is sharper, brighter, more true to life than ever before. The ultra-wide has a nano coating that eliminates glare and reflections, perfect for city shots at night. And the telephoto? This is where Apple did something crazy. They created the Air lens. It's a folded lens system that's so thin, you wouldn't believe it can zoom 6 times optically without losing sharpness. But it does, and it looks stunning. Video recording, cinematic mode got another leap. Now with full 8K capture, Dolby Vision, and instant on-device editing thanks to the A19 chip. And let's address the elephant in the room, the battery. Because every time Apple makes a device thinner, people panic. They think, great, another phone that dies by lunchtime. The iPhone 17 Air uses stacked cell nano battery tech. It's compact, efficient, and somehow gives you 2 full days of power on a phone that's thinner than most notebooks. And charging? MagSafe Air, a new magnetic wireless standard that's faster, cooler, and designed for the next generation of Apple accessories. But there's one feature in the iPhone 17 Air that will absolutely blow your mind. This phone can project a floating 3D interface onto any flat surface. Place it on a desk, you get a full-size keyboard and app layout projected right in front of you. Watching a movie? Project it on the wall in 1080p holographic clarity. No headset, no glasses, just your phone and thin air. This is the first iPhone that feels like it's stepping out of the phone category and into something else entirely. The iPhone 17 Air is the bridge. It takes those lessons and puts them in your pocket. That's the magic of Apple. They don't always move first, but when they do move, they make it feel inevitable. But here's where things get really interesting, because the iPhone 17 Air isn't just about what it can do alone. It's about how it fits into Apple's bigger world. We've heard Apple talk about the ecosystem for years, but with the 17 Air, the ecosystem feels alive. You're working on your MacBook Pro. You put your iPhone 17 Air next to it. Suddenly, a projection keyboard appears on the desk. The Mac recognizes it instantly. No cables, no setup. You just start typing on your desk. Or say you're using Vision Pro. The iPhone 17 Air can project notifications into your field of view, so you don't have to keep lifting the headset to check your phone. It's subtle, but powerful. And AirPods? Now they connect simultaneously to the projection mode. So if you're watching a movie on the wall with your iPhone 17 Air, your AirPods automatically adjust sound levels to match the projection distance. This isn't just convenience. This is Apple turning your phone into the hub of a digital universe. And let's be honest, that's always been Apple's plan. The iPhone was never just a phone. It was the gateway drug, the anchor, the center of gravity for everything else. And with the 17 Air, that gravity feels stronger than ever. But let's zoom in on daily life, because the real magic of this phone isn't in the keynote slides. It's in those small, everyday moments. Imagine you wake up. You don't even pick up your iPhone. You just glance at it. The always-on display lights up with a soft glow, summarizing your day. Weather, meetings, reminders, all arranged by Apple Intelligence. You head to the kitchen. You set the phone on the counter. Projection mode turns it into a recipe screen while you cook. No smudges on glass, just floating instructions in mid-air. The iPhone has always been about making technology invisible, and this feels like the closest they've ever come. Of course, no iPhone launch is complete without controversy, and the iPhone 17 Air, oh boy, people are divided. Some say it's too thin, that Apple sacrificed comfort for the sake of design. But this isn't just another iPhone cycle. It feels like the start of something bigger. Apple has been hinting at a post-smartphone future for years, a world where we're not glued to glass rectangles, where the interface lives in the air around us. The iPhone 17 Air is a bridge to that world. Projection mode hints at it, Apple Intelligence powers it, and the design, impossibly thin, impossibly light, feels like a disappearing act. It's as if Apple is saying, the future isn't in your hand, it's in the air around you. That's why this launch matters, not for the specs, not even for the cameras. It matters because of what it represents. A shift, a step into the next era. Back in 2007, Steve Jobs introduced the first iPhone as 3 devices in one: a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator. People laughed. They didn't get it. Now the iPhone 17 Air is 3 things too: a phone, a computer, and a portal into the next chapter of computing. And history shows Apple thrives on daring design. Remember the iPhone 4, a design icon, though now it feels like a brick. The iPhone 6, bigger, thinner, infamous for bendgate, yet still the best-selling iPhone ever. And now the 17th Air, so thin it feels unreal. Apple's saying, yes, it's fragile. Yes, it's bold, but you'll get used to it. You'll love it. And history says, they're probably right. The iPhone has always shaped culture. Selfies, TikTok, even AirPods culture. None of it would have exploded the same way without iPhones leading the charge. Now projection mode is next. Imagine classrooms projecting shared work on desks, friends projecting games at hangouts, creators editing in thin air without touching a laptop. This will change behavior in ways we can't even predict yet. And with Apple Intelligence woven into everything, the iPhone doesn't just react. It anticipates. It knows when you're stressed, when you're tired, when you're overloaded. For the first time, the iPhone feels less like a tool and more like a companion. And yeah, that freaks some people out. Privacy advocates worry about sensors scanning your world. Durability tests show mixed results.